You have the ruling party, the APC, you have the main opposition party, the PDP, and then you have 79 political parties in Nigeria, popularly referred to as the political third force. We'll be discussing the political third force in Nigeria on the show today. My name is Isabella Akinseye, and Politico Politica starts now.
The Nigeria of the future is for dreamers like me.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
Our local government areas must become special economic zones.
I hope to disrupt the politics of failure.
There will be no sacred cow.
Dissolve all the congresses, dissolve the convention, and start all over again.
Mr. President, my people are under siege.
Leadership is not about the position you hold.
You can't shut down your shop and be chasing criminals.
If you allow criminals, there will be no shop.
Find ways to fix your judiciary.
That's what say I.
And most importantly, fix the mind of the people.
The party must do what is right.
Nigeria suffers from a state of economic radiculopathy, social sciatica, and political dystopia.
Welcome back to Politico Politica with me, your host, Isabella Akinseye. It's time to meet our guest. He is a creative industrialist and techpreneur. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Imaginarium Global Creative, a creative technologies firm that specializes in harnessing emergent telecoms and media opportunities. He holds a master's degree from the Pan Atlantic University, Lagos Business School, and a BSc Human Anatomy from the University of Port Harcourt. He is a fellow of the Institute of Development Association of Nigeria, IDAN. He is a member of the Information Communications Committee of the Nigeria Economic Forum and a Ford Foundation inductee. He is a founding member of Guardians of the Nation International, GOTNI, and a graduate of the LEAP Africa program for young leaders. He is the curator of the Creative Nigeria Project, a non-profit that sits at the intersection of art and advocacy. He is seeking to represent Eti-Osa in the Federal House of Representatives under Alliance for New Nigeria. He is Ferdinand Adimefe. Ferdinand, welcome to Politico Politica.
It's a pleasure to be your guest.
So we're looking at the political third force in Nigeria. That's our topic of the day. What will you make of this political third force?
Well, honestly, I think that we need a third force, but I wouldn't say we're going about it the right way. First of all, if you want to go against a party like PDP and APC that have a huge structure and funding capacity, you need to come together. And that's what we're not seeing. I would have loved a situation where all the alternative parties can come together and make a very strong, potent force. We are hoping that will happen because there are still talks and negotiation, but it's not happening fast enough because we have just a few days to the election. But more importantly, one thing we must zero in on is what are the ideologies behind these parties. If the ideologies are not united, it will be difficult to bring them together. Let's face it, some people, this is a racket for them. They exist just to run for an election. And so they do it every year since I was a child. I know some names have been seen around for the longest. I don't think they're taking it serious enough. I don't think they're interested in winning or serving. I think it's just part of the game for them. So I don't think those ones should be part of the third force. Those ones are appendages of PDP and APC. In fact, they do this to form a coalition and go and support the government in power. I mean, we see all of those things play out again. There is a need for a third force. And I would really think that every Nigerian should question themselves when they go to the polls. Have your life been better in the last 4 years? And if those who have held power in 16 years think they want to come back and do what they haven't finished, they're joking. We must first of all face the critical question. Nigeria is not where it's supposed to be based on the resources. We have 13 million young people, young children out of education. That should cause you to stay awake at night. So it's not about running. So third force is supposed to be our hope. And I hope that before the election, we really realize how important we need each other.
You already went into my second question, which has to do with coalition, of coming together, because definitely not every party will be fielding candidates for each of the different elections. So how do you see that happening, or do you feel that a lot of these political parties that make this third force are only in it because of what they can gain?
Well, like I said, the ideology behind the parties are very different. And of course, everyone is legally permitted to run if you want to run for office. What I think is even most important is that for a third force, we're not seeing that coalition happening anytime. And I wish, my advice would, people should look beyond themselves. Let's understand that this is not just another election. We have an opportunity to get our country back on track and get it to move in the direction we want to be proud of. Every day, 3 doctors are on their way out of the country. And that's brain drain. And we're just talking about doctors. If you look across the spectrum of careers, the numbers are huge. And Canada is benefiting from our talent drain. Saudi Arabia is benefiting from that. Belgium, UK, US. Nigerians are going everywhere to have a shot at a better life. I mean, we don't understand that this is almost a crisis point. I mean, when you find mass migration at the scale we're having now, it's seconded to places like Bahrain and Syria. So we're at war, but we don't understand that. And an economic war. When you have an unemployment rate that has skyrocketed 3-fold in the last 4 years, there's a problem. When you have maternal mortality still on the rise, there is a problem. So I think we must be more focused on the issues. And if you look at your country as an ailing country, you must be bothered as what can I do to fix it? It's not about me running. It's about even getting people that we trust and believe in. Because I don't know that APC or PDP have good intentions for this country. We must look beyond them.
So this third force, this political force in Nigeria, which you are a part of by virtue of being in the ANN, do you feel that they're doing more for our democracy or less, being that a lot of them are not even formed on ideologies? You say ideologies, but if I went to each of these parties, will I really see ideologies there?
I think on one level they are doing enough for our democracy. First, we are finding a sense where there is a more active participation, more than ever in the history of the country. We have a lot more people running in this election. So that's success on one level. That means we have awoken enough consciousness in people. And so there's increased political participation. That's happening. Like I said, but the problem for me is not just about spreading team. It's about building the momentum and then creating the significant scale that can allow us to make an impact. That is what is not happening. But on the scale of the not too young to run bill, which I am a beneficiary of, we're all running because there's a bill that came in last year that allowed for us to run. I think we need to look at creating more opportunities for women, more opportunities for young people to participate. And again, the cost of election is still the problem. The cost of election, the cost of even participating in an election, in getting through the process, and how candidates emerge. Those are part of the process for us. And so I really do think that there's a measure of success. But like I said, it could be more.
It's interesting to hear you say that you're a product of the not too young to run bill, and yet you say nothing good can come out from APC and PDP. So some will say that they have the experience and they do even have achievements that have benefited you. So my question will be, what experience does this political third force have coming into the 2019 general elections?
Now, when you talk about political experience, I think that somehow that is very exaggerated. It's important that political experience is needed, but in the situation where we cannot point to political experience as part of what has helped us as a country, then we must put a question mark on it. What we should be asking ourselves is, what's the competence and the capacity and the character of this person as a leader? Let's look at their corporate life. Let's look at their career. Let's look at their trajectory. Let's look at the businesses they've been able to build. If they have successes in their businesses and in their career, you can always bet on them, because the same criteria for success is universal. What you use in building a business is basically what you're going to use to run a country. Now, what we have in this country right now are career politicians. They've proven themselves in no other place than in winning election and in being in politics. So we don't even know their competence and their capacity. You won't ask me for political experience. It took the president 6 months to get a cabinet. If political experience is such a vital force, you would expect the president to hit the ground running. I mean, there are many things I admire in him, but this particular one, political experience, is exaggerated in this country. We need leadership experience more than anything else.
Okay, so this political third force, some would argue that they are actually being sponsored by the ruling party or the opposition party, and like you earlier alluded to it, as to how they would later come in and choose one party to get behind and support. What do you make of this?
You can't control these things. There are factors in politics. People will exist to do what they need to do, but I still think that there is a counterfeit and there is a real. There are people who exist because they want to be supported or sponsored or, pander to the politics of the day. But there are people who are genuinely concerned about building this country. And for me, that is where my focus is. My party, the Alliance for New Nigeria, is very important. Our ideology is built around nation building. And we're asking ourselves, how do we galvanize our people and drive significant programs that can help impact the common man? Anybody can wake up one day and become somebody in this country without knowing anybody. That's something that we believe in as a party. So I'm saying that for me, I didn't just go to A&M because I needed a party. I took time to study, profile the people in the party, the ideology in the party, and I said, okay, this resonates with me on a level. I want to be here. Has it been easy? I think there are many things that we're learning as a new party. We're teaching as well. And there is no funding because there is no godfather, as it were, so there are no deep pockets. But we have about 300 people running across Nigeria. And all these 300 people, they're funding themselves. I mean, we're going to raising money, doing the best we can, the little we can do. But it's not about a 100-meter dash. It's about being in the race for the long haul. Let's keep building. 2019 will come and go, but Nigeria remains, and that is what is important. So if after the election we go back and sleep, we failed, we must stay on and support whoever wins, and so contribute our ideas in any way we can to help them succeed in whatever they're doing. Because the success of that person is the success of our country. I don't think on any level, in Nigeria, for me, I'm not particular about, it's not that I must be a House of Rep member. No, that's not what I'm concerned about. Whoever is there should do what is right. But when whoever is there is not interested in serving you or serving his country, he has no reason being there.
And my final question will be your predictions, the third force going into the general elections. Do you see the president coming from the third force? Do you see governors coming, House of Reps, Senate, House of Assembly? How do you think they will fare?
24 hours is a long day in politics. I think the third force can produce our next president. There is a chance, there is a possibility. But how soon, how we come together to accomplish this is where I'm hoping we can see.
It will be interesting to see how many governors come from the third force, how many House of Reps members, Senate members, House of Assembly. I definitely think it's very interesting times here in Nigeria. Thank you, Ferdinand.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be going on a quick breather on Politico Politica, but we want to hear from you. You can contribute to the topic of the day, which is the political third force in Nigeria. Tweet at PP with Isabella using the hashtag Politico Politica. You can also make your contributions on Facebook and Instagram. The handle to follow is Politico Politica. The show returns shortly. Do stay with us.